I'm Jamie Gorman, the host of Be Better at Business TV. My guest this morning is pastry chef and budding YouTube star with over 1 million YouTube views, Jason Schreiner, the Aubergine chef. Good morning, Jason.
Good morning, Jamie.
This morning we're going to be talking about how to use online video marketing to market your business and to brand yourself. Just a little bit about the Aubergine chef. You're a pastry chef and you help others, you teach classes,
right,
and then you help others create wonderful pastries, right?
That's correct, yes.
Okay, great. And you use YouTube as a marketing tool to help sell those services.
Right.
Okay, great. So online video clearly is picking up for the entertainment purposes. I mean, who hasn't seen Charlie Bit Me or Debbie the Cat? I'm Debbie, I Love Cats video on YouTube.
Right.
But why is online video making such an impact for business?
Well, when it comes to video marketing, you can tell so much more to somebody than just a picture. If a picture is worth 1,000 words, think about how many words a video is worth.
Well, let's see, 30 frames per second.
Exactly.
Okay, got it.
And with video, for me, I can show people literally how something is done, how a professional makes something.
Okay.
So that way, it's not they're just looking at a picture on a recipe and say, like, I want to make this, and then when it doesn't come out right, they don't know what went wrong. So
right,
they can see, how do I fold? What equipment am I using? Where is my hands? And all that kind of stuff.
Right. So I'm sure you have a lot of different terminology, but when you talk about folding or doing certain things, I've heard you talk about weighing ingredients versus you can actually show them and display how you do that, and it kind of helps you define your industry, I guess, or how you do things.
Right. And it's important because a lot of people don't realize that professional bakers do things a lot differently than home bakers.
Okay.
And even though the end product can be the same, there's an easier way to get there if you're doing it the professional way, like using a scale instead
right,
of using cups, and using the proper equipment and the proper techniques instead of, like, you know, the really fun plastic whisk with a heart on it. If you're using
right,
the real stuff, then you can do a better job even at home, and it can be a quality product.
Okay, so it's not even just how you do things, but even some of the tools that you use, it gives you a very good display of that.
Right, and a lot of people want to know what kind of equipment I use.
Okay. So what else besides, so it definitely helps you kind of display that. What else have you seen as far as, you know, why online video kind of helps for business and branding?
Well, it also allows businesses to tell their story.
Okay.
So, for example, like I also work full-time for a real estate company,
okay,
as their admin assistant. And so when I started doing this, they said, like, can you help us do some video marketing for ourselves?
Right.
And so what they do is they use it for their what do you call it, their home tours or their house videos.
Yep.
So that way they can show, you know, this is the houses here. These are the houses in Virginia. These are the houses that are common in our area. So even people who are planning on moving here who can't, you know, tour the house or see the house, like if they're in Rhode Island or something like that, they can see it.
Okay.
You can also use it for, like, if you were just like, even like an accountant or a lawyer or whatever, you know, this is where I work, you know, this is my neighborhood, you know, I'm part of the community. So you can,
right,
you can back up your words by showing that you're actually there.
Right. I'm assuming that, you know, I know just from a public speaking and from blogging, that when you tell your story and you make it personal, it really helps to build the trust and credibility. It makes it personal, and it allows you to connect with people, right?
That's correct. And connecting with people is really important. Because I have my videos, I can connect with people on a different level, especially
right,
since I'm on YouTube. People can reach me through my blog and commenting, through YouTube and commenting. When I teach my classes, a lot of my students that come in say, oh, I saw this on your blog. Can we talk about this already? They know who I am already, even
right,
if I don't know who they are.
Okay.
So they're more willing to open up, and we can start talking. The dialogue opens up sooner.
Okay. Well, great. Well, I want to remind you that Be Better Business TV is a live show, and so if you're online watching us, you can chat in your questions, and we'll take those and answer those live online for either Jason or I. So so you get to this point, you're a pastry chef, you're going to do classes, and you decide, hey, you know what, I'm just going to start my own YouTube show. Talk us through that decision and kind of what you considered and why you chose YouTube or those types of things.
A lot of people ask me about how I got started with that. I always compare it to kind of like Julie and Julia,
okay,
that movie. When I left the kitchen industry, I was really frustrated and bored because, like, when you work in the kitchen, you do a lot of the same things over and over again. You feel kind of stifled. You don't have a lot of interactivity with people other than who are in the kitchen.
Okay.
It's really difficult on you. But, you know, I still love food. I just don't love giving up my life for food.
Right. Okay.
And so, right. And so what I wanted to do was I wanted to be out there and I wanted to give back and I wanted to still be with food but still be interactive.
Okay.
So when I did the full-time stuff at the admin stuff at the real estate office, my broker, who was the one who actually suggested, why don't you think about blogging? And so he showed me how his blog works, and I was like, yeah, that's kind of interesting. Let me try it out.
Right.
And, you know, so what I did was on the weekends, I would record my episodes and, you know, figure out recipes, and I would just upload it. And at first, nobody was really watching it except for friends and family. But then, like, strangers started commenting, strangers started, you know, requesting recipes, and it got really exciting, and it felt like I owed them something.
Right.
I feel like, you know, you're watching me, I really owe you something. Thank you
Yeah.
so much. So, you know, I try to be very interactive about it, and it just kind of grew from there. And it's almost like my blog has become almost like my portfolio or my resume. So, like, when Manassas Park Community Center wanted me to come on, they already
Right.
had a pretty good idea of what I was
What you could do.
Exactly, what I was capable of. So, and again, with the blog, having the videos on it, it's like a follow-up to the classes. So after the class is over, they can go to the YouTube video and see it again. So, like, say they don't
Right.
make the cream puffs or whatever for a week, and they're like, oh, what did he do? I don't really know what he means by this. They can see it.
Yeah, so, and I find that, you know, just with blogging as well, and also now that I'm doing the video, is that from a personal services perspective, it's kind of your demonstration. It's kind of the demonstration of kind of what you do and what you can do from that perspective. And then it also, you know, like you said, reserves that as that reference. So I find myself now, when people ask me questions about business, I'll say, this is kind of the answer, but, you know, hey, if you go back and you look at this video, we talked about that, and it kind of helps. And I think that's
Right.
a big thing about blogging.
Yes, and I agree with that. Blogging is just a great tool for interactivity. You know, you have these stagnant websites where people can go to it and learn about you, but it's one way. With blogging, it's a conversation.
Right.
And it keeps your content fresh.
Right. Yeah, and Jason and I are in the Piedmont Bloggers, which is a local blogging group, and, you know, we have these discussions a lot about the value of blogging. And
Right.
so for all you Piedmont bloggers out there, just another encouragement to after the show, go out and do some blogging, right?
Yes.
So Alyssa, questions from the audience?
How expensive is it to do your own videos that don't look awful?
Yeah, I know, just in coming up with this show and trying to do my own promo, you know, do I have the right equipment? Do I sound right? What do I need for audio? What kind of, how expensive is it? How tough is it to get into it?
Well, we were just discussing how different it is for live and for edited. Like for me, when I do promotion videos, I edit my videos.
Right.
You almost really need two different sorts of equipment requirements. But I always feel really weird about saying you have to have this because I don't like being told I have to have it. But if you're going to be on YouTube, you really have to think about, you know, the way you're putting yourself out. So you really have to have some certain things. So, but you don't have to spend a lot of money on it. So
Right.
the first thing you should invest in is an HD camera, and I brought mine.
Okay.
It's just a small little camcorder. It's a Canon Vixia HF R300.
Okay.
And for a while I was using a flip cam, and I thought it was fine. But, you know, once I got this and I saw the quality difference, I was so mad at myself for not doing
Right.
it sooner. I did 100 episodes with the flip cam, and I was just like, you know, I could have got this sooner. And this was only $300.
Okay.
So it's super affordable. Now, when you go to the store and you see the same kind of camera, but it costs more, take a look at the specs. Does it have a lot of memory? Because you can buy those separate cards, the SD cards,
Right.
to boost your memory. You don't have to have that built-in memory.
Well, and you can also, now do you use it and record directly to your computer, or do you save it in here and then pull it in?
I pull it in.
Okay,
I
all right,
upload
all right.
it. Yeah. So, you know, and I use the SD card for that.
Okay.
The other thing too is check if it has like these really odd features that aren't exactly necessary. Like
Right.
one of the cameras had Wi-Fi, and I was like, well, I can connect it to my computer. I can save a couple hundred there. Some of them have like this geolocator satellite thing. I was like, well, I'm only gonna be recording in my
I'm
house.
going to be at the same place. so
Exactly.
Okay.
So I don't really need that. So
Right.
you know, $300 got me a nice HD camera. The other thing.
Now, one
Yes.
other question on
Sorry,
the camera.
Go ahead.
So I've heard that you want to get something for an external audio connection. Do you do that, or do you do, how do you do your audio?
Oh, well, that's a great
Okay,
segue. So what I do for my audio is I have my little, I don't know if you guys can see this, but it's an Olympus voice recorder. It's
Okay.
only $30. You can get it on Amazon or any like tech store. And what I do is I got this $2 microphone, and it's super cheap, and it actually is pretty good quality. I mean, I was worried that it was so cheap, but I was like, you know, $2, I can
Right.
give it a try. All I do is I just clip it onto my jacket and just record. And then what I do is I sync the video with the voice recording
Okay.
after. So that's why it's easier for me to do production while you have to have a more
Right, right,
sophisticated
right.
sound system. And for your equipment, for this goes for all your equipment. If I talk more about other equipment, you really need to know how it works. Read the instruction manual, test it out.
Right.
This microphone has 2 settings, high and low. If it's on high, it literally sounds like I'm screaming at you, even if I'm whispering.
Right.
And with my equipment going on in the background, it was just really bad. And I did that one of my episodes. I forgot to switch it to low, and I was like, oops, well, can't do anything about that now. And it's, again, just know your equipment. And again, for my camera, it has a setting where I can do something where it makes the colors more vibrant.
Right.
Which isn't, always necessary for everything because it's a little overwhelming. But for the fruit tart episode, it made the fruit look more fresh.
Okay.
So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, so there is some, you need some videography and you need to pay attention to some of these things and try to get some quality stuff out there.
Right. Another way you can save some money is on your lighting.
And lighting is critical. It's very important. Even, we've used different cameras and things, but when we really took a look at the lighting, that's what really helped.
Yes, and you don't have to spend a lot of money on lighting. You should invest in it eventually. What I use right now is just some contractor lights. It was I want to say $10, $15, so they're super cheap.
Very cheap. Yeah.
I actually spent more money on the light bulb because I was
yes, the light bulb.
The quality of the light. I want it to be an LED light so it doesn't get hot. And I wanted it to be strong like daylight.
Yes.
And which also helps because I recently started working on my photography, which is different from video because you can use a little bit more intense lighting for video, which is important because your HD camera, if the light is not strong enough, it can come out a little bit grainy.
Okay.
So you want to make sure that you have a strong light, but not overwhelming.
Right.
And because it's an LED light and doesn't get hot, I can put a scrim over it. So this is just a cotton poly blend.
Yeah.
And it kind of reduces the intensity of the light so I don't have the shadows in the photography. So
Right.
I'm learning about photography because, the video recording and the photography are 2 separate things.
Right. Very close.
Yes.
Great. Yeah, so you can kind of get into it. Doesn't have to be expensive, but it does take some time to learn these things and kind of play around with them to get the right mix.
Correct.
Yeah, good. Well, I want to thank Jason Schreiner, the Aubergine chef, for being here with us this morning. And Jason, just take a couple minutes here and tell us a little bit more about what you do and what the Aubergine Chef is all about.
Okay, sure. So the Aubergine Chef is an online food blog. That's how we started. I have my free recipe downloads, my free videos. We talk about food science, we talk about equipment and on technology and that kind of stuff. After that, I started teaching classes at the Manassas Park Community Center. Actually, I have one tonight. It's the cake decorating one where we're making Swiss buttercream and we're doing decorating flowers.
Okay.
And from there, I also do private demos for your home, your business, or your event. So I can come in and be like a live cooking show, or I can come in and make a cooking class for you in your house.
Right. I really like the events and kind of the party aspect of that to come in because people look for entertainment, and that'd be a great thing to do for that.
Right. It's very difficult for adults to find something entertaining for kids. You can hire a clown, you can hire a magician, but for an adult party, what do you do? So I'm trying to fill that niche.
Do a pastry chef and a wine tasting, and we'll be all set.
I'm into it.
Okay, great. Well, thanks again for being with us. I'm Jamie Gorman, the host of Be Better at Business TV and the CEO of Sigma Business Management. Being better at business helps you make better decisions, which leads to better results. At Sigma Business Management, we help you do that, to be better at business and to get those results.